all about Ethereum now. I'll explain. Ethereum's 10 years gone, 10 years old, 10 years gone. And in 2014, we started Crowd America, which is now Bruno. Let me tell you something, Linda. Somebody named Linda just popped up. 10 years. It's worth, right there you can see it's worth $500 billion. Vitalik was 19 when he created it. And the SEC just approved Ethereum as the base layer for assets. So we're going to get into that here in a little bit after we listen to some Zepp. Hope you're watching football. I'm a little bit late because I was baking chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so over the last 5 years, Ethereum has produced a return of 1,000%. And when I first started this, everybody wanted to have arguments. It was frequently with Cardano people. And Cardano was started by somebody named Charles Hoskinson, who was fired by Vitalik Buterin and went out and got venture capital money and started Cardano. I got the idea for Bruno as a name because Cardano is some Italian super genius from the Middle Ages. And I had Giordano Bruno on my iPad. And as I was reading about Cardano and I was going out of it, I said, that'd be a good name for a crypto project. So when I started this, it was Bruno Crypto TikTok. It's a good solo too. We'll come back to that. So this has been 10 years, but more importantly, I'm just giving you like the basics. Go get the book, The Infinite Machine, okay? The Infinite Machine is something, when you hear people talk about AI, they want to make an infinite machine out of something that is not infinite. Just running data through large language models is not going to produce infinity, right? What is going to produce infinity is for humans to deploy blockchain and deploy capital differently. I mean, I could go on. I've done this for 5 years, people. I've told you for 5 years exactly what was going to happen. I said one day you're going to wake up and blockchain will be running the banking system. That was the Genius Act. Someday you're going to wake up and all the treasuries are going to be restructured on blockchain. That was the Clarity Act, the Stablecoin Act. And then I said, one day you're going to wake up and all the assets are going to trade on Ethereum. That just happened. I'll bet there's not another person on the internet tonight saying this to you. I don't mean that in like an arrogant asshole way. I just mean like I've put in the work. To include, if you jump over to Substack, I'll give you a link. It's not the greatest thing you've ever read, but the white paper from the Federal Reserve talking about Ethereum was written in 2016. Okay? This is 10 years gone, 10 years coming. This has been, and everybody's sitting here trying to explain to you why a company that just got cut out of China named NVIDIA it's first of all, we cut off the chip. I always like to beat up on these like sacred cows, Tesla, NVIDIA, OpenAI, because I don't think that they're what they're made out to be. They're not these infinite machines of wealth, right? Well, NVIDIA is worth more than all the farmland in the Americas, both North America and South America. Why? Because there's nothing else to fucking invest in. It's not like, well, we've looked at it very strongly and it's worth this much. It's worth more than all the farmland. It's like worth more than Africa. Like it's goofy, crazy. And we cut off the chips to China, the NVIDIA chips to China. And then the Communist Party thought about it for a little bit and went, come to think of it, we'll up you on that. You're not allowed to sell them here anymore. Why? Because it incentivizes, like it's 13, I think China, is it 13 million? No, 13 million people graduate from college per year in China. They graduate more engineers than the rest of the world combined. Okay, I just had to go through that little thing about you're all investing in your 401k with the S&P 500. It's 40%, six stocks that are all related to DARPA, or Oracle, Amazon. They're all, the United States made the internet, right? They're not going to let anybody use the internet that isn't with the program, if you know what I mean. So this is why I've always come on here and been like, Elon Musk is like a super genius? No, people. No, the guy who changed things is Vitalik Buterin. Because the guy who changed the way we're going to put capital to work just got approved by the SEC. Trump referred, I forget the guy's name, to the SEC chairman, and he specifically named, I forget what the acronym's for, it's the Ethereum T-Rex. I could look that up for you real quick. That's the kind of stuff that you probably like to hear from me. Ethereum. It stands for see, like, okay, there it is. Token for regulated exchanges. Yep. My very sophisticated production facility here. So what we're getting, and let me get down in the weeds a little bit. So T-Rex, it's the ERC token 3643. The guy that invented it has a company called Tokeny. It's like a little cheesy, but go with it. Like token with a Y at the end. And that was just bought out by I think a 2 trillion? By like a $2 or $3 trillion asset manager. Not as big as BlackRock, but almost. So here's where it really gets pretty sexy. There's this thing in crypto, I forget, there's a famous guy who said, he's a lawyer, he said, code is law. In other words, the software that, when you send somebody Ethereum, you don't just send them like a digit or like a debit or credit. You send them a little package of software. So what the T-Rex token is going to be based on this Ethereum 3643 is all the regulatory aspects, the trading, everything that you need to know about that share of, let's just for fun, just talk about tokenizing Black Angus cattle, okay? Because we need cattle in this country. In fact, Trump just bought a whole bunch from Argentina. In other words, we'll be able to securitize real world assets like cattle, farmland, I don't know, private jets, whatever. Just let your mind run wild. And you'll be able to send an application to the SEC, which will be cleared through AI, and you'll instantly have a token that's ready for trading. You'll be able to securitize things, I don't know, it might take 3 to 5 years. You'll be able to securitize ideas, assets, what have you, startups, in probably 24 hours. And my point to you, and the reason I've always come on this channel for so long and like made all this content, I just kept saying to you, people, I don't care about Elon Musk or Tesla or Nvidia or whatever. The reason all that shit is so high in price is because you don't know what else to invest in. How could you live in the United States of America and there not be enough cattle? How did we fuck up cattle? You know what I mean? It's because of the 401k mutual fund thing, and you just put money into whatever's moving up. As it becomes a bigger and bigger part of the S&P 500, more and more money goes into it. If Nvidia became 50% of the S&P 500, I know that's absurd, but just go with it. If Nvidia became 50% of the S&P 500, every time you'd put $1,000 into your 401k and through something that's an index fund like an S&P 500, 50% of that money would go into the Nvidia stock. That's goofy. Number two that's goofy is excuse me, when you buy NVIDIA stock, you understand that the money doesn't go into the checking account of NVIDIA. When you're at a cocktail party and you tell people that, they go, what? Yeah, whenever you buy Tesla stock, it isn't like the money goes to Elon Musk. They go, where does it go? To the asshole that just sold you the Tesla stock. See how crazy this is? There's no basis for these market caps at all. There's no dividends, there's no earnings, there's the new Tesla, they're going to strip all the luxury items out of it. It's just going to be a big plastic thing like this chair I'm sitting on that came from Walmart. What's it called? LifeMark or something. Literally, Teslas are going to look like they were made for Walmart. They're going to lose money. And the stock is at $1 trillion. That's more. I'll bet Tesla is worth more than all the real estate in New England. If you're my age, you remember these kinds of stories from Japan, like the Emperor's Palace was worth more than all the real estate in California. Do you remember that? That's where we are. So, okay, so there's like that's like your basic of like, who is, how did we get here? Let's have a musical interlude, shall we? Now we're going to talk about what to do about it. Somebody just said, should I sell my Tesla? That's not the point of this conversation. Don't ask me like, should I sell my XRP and buy Ethereum? That's not what we're doing here tonight, people. I'm telling you, this is the biggest thing that happened since we went off the gold standard in 1971. This is the biggest thing that happened when we went off, since Bretton Woods. This is the biggest thing since the founding of the Federal Reserve. Why? Because Ethereum's a coin? No. Whenever I did 5 years of content on here, I just got on and said, people, they're not fucking coins. They're not coins, okay? That's the Bitcoin story. That Bitcoin is the only thing that has any value. Everything's going to zero except Bitcoin. Well, again, let's just think this through for a minute, Linda. Is that even investing? In other words, I could make something called the Zeppelin, okay? And it would have this meme coin kind of a thing. We get Jimmy Page to like play a solo, you know what I mean? I'd just like hype it up like that. And everybody would run up and chase this thing higher and higher and higher, like Elon Musk did with Doge. Okay? What is the effect on the real world? Zero. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, how are we in America? We don't have enough fucking Black Angus cattle, but we have a stock that just got cut off from China that's 60% of the semiconductor market. That's worth $4.5 trillion, but we don't have enough Black Angus because all the money's going into NVIDIA. See? It's now this chart, I actually think this is, to me, this is solid, okay? Think about this. This is worth, down at the bottom, it's worth $468 billion. It's a big number. It's a big number. It's probably like PNC Bank or something. Well, PNC Bank isn't going to grow by 10x in the next 10 years. When I say grow, I don't just mean the price of the stock. I mean the actual functionality of PNC Bank is not going to go up 10x. The functionality of Ethereum is. It's not even, it might be 20x. Everything is going to run on Ethereum. Not in banking, not the coins, bullshit, not the stable coins. I mean all the assets, the oil companies, the Black Angus cattle, the startups. There's kids coming out of like CMU, they're not going to fly to Silicon Valley to raise money anymore. They're going to put their white paper together. They're going to find some sort of social media thing, sort of like a glorified Reddit. Whoever wants it can pay $100 to look at it. And they're going to send a mini IPO kind of a thing to the SEC and come back, and the whole thing's going to transact like that on Ethereum. Let's give the devil his due for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes. Let's give Trump his due. First of all, I don't think anything that Trump does comes from Trump. We live now in the technological republic. Okay, go get the book, or you can go watch my stuff on Substack. Explain. We don't live in a democracy, capitalist, Congress, Mike Johnson, all that bullshit. That's not how it works anymore. Everything runs on technology. If you haven't like taken that into your brain yet, you maybe want to spend the weekend and like go to church or something and like stare out the window and take that all in. Donald Trump does not run the United States anymore. The software does. Palantir does. AI does. Yep. And what's happening in the financial system is just the natural evolution of that, right? They brought in Doge, and now the federal government runs on Ripple. The federal government runs on Ripple. I don't know how. I'm not a tech guy. I don't know how to read code or anything. But when the Doge crew went in there, they didn't like unplug the PCs and plug new PCs in. They changed over the software that the federal government runs on. This isn't hard. Now they're going to do the same thing for the entire financial system. Larry Fink's been saying it for like 5 years. Everything is going to be tokenized. And as Raoul Paul says, no one's ever going to get fired for using Ethereum. Follow me? So, where are we? So, back to Trump. Let's do Trump some more. So let's do the tariff thing for a minute. I did a lot of work on Stephen Moran, and we're going to tariff people, and if they don't behave, we're not going to pay them their interest and like shit like that. The tariffs aren't like this magic thing, like you just put tariffs on shit and suddenly factories are built in Flint, Michigan. Okay, that's just Mickey Mouse, right? But, Linda, what is happening is, and again, I don't think Trump or Stephen Moran or Elon Musk is in charge of this, but they just needed to stabilize the American economy to make sure nothing bad happened. And I'm going to say something really profound here. As everything goes on Ethereum, it's being liquidated. What? Mm-hmm. Think of what the word, well, you mean it's going to zero? No. It's being liquefied. It's being liquidated so that everything can transact at new prices. So Trump's tariffs and heavy-handed bullshit running around muscling Europe, muscling Japan, muscling Latin America and everything is to keep America from the wheels coming off. Okay? That's what's going on here. I'm trying to give you like a way to look at this where you don't really lay awake at night and like either like obsess about Trump one way or the other. We're moving off. I used to go like this, like every week I'd go, we're going off the old system and onto the new system. Ethereum is now the new system. I think in the banking system, it's going to be more of like an XRP kind of a thing. But in the asset world, the things that we invest in, it's primarily going to run on Ethereum. And if we need, there's all this focus on large language models. That's because DARPA wants them. It's not because it's a good economic idea to build large language models as big as West Texas. It's because DARPA needs them. So they have this asshole walking around named Sam Altman, like telling up, our system is now more intelligent than all the Nobel Prize winners ever put together. He's just a crisis. He's just fake, people. Sam Altman's just a goof. He's just an Elon Musk. He's out there, he's telling stories, and he's covering up the fact that these things are going to be built, whether it makes sense for them or not. If OpenAI is such a great idea, why don't they take it public? They can't take it public. It doesn't have enough revenue to take public. They sort of talked about that. Microsoft was sort of going to be in it with them. And then like Microsoft realized it's a black fucking hole. Apple doesn't have any AI because they can see it's a black hole, but it's going to be built anyways. So you're going to have to listen to Sam Altman on all these, do all these presentations, and they're going to tell you that it's the greatest thing ever, and AI is going to write Beatles songs and cure cancer and all this bullshit, right? It's just like Elon Musk with his dumb fucking EVs. They're sort of, the EV thing is sort of pretty much uneventful when it's all said and done. So we're going to be investing in new stuff. Like you could build an EV factory in Flint, Michigan with this kind of tokenization. What do you, like you could raise $500 billion. I think you might see something like that. Let's just get weird and just, like, I just heard this last night. The CEO, and I grew up in the country and I'm a little bit of a gearhead. The CEO of Ford Motor Company, who I just beat up because he says we have 6,000 service bays that are empty every day. It's like, I forget his name. Yeah, whatever. Well, you have $30 billion in the fucking checking account. Why don't you train some fucking technicians? This is how crazy America is. The CEO of Ford Motor Company drives a Chinese car to work every day. Take that in. They can make an electric vehicle, BYD can make an electric vehicle and deliver it to Long Beach Port in Los Angeles for $8,000. If we imported cars from China, all the American car companies would instantly go to zero. So what's going to happen? I don't know. What could happen, I did a big presentation for myself just for something to do one afternoon. Why doesn't Ford Motor Company pick up the phone and call BYD and do a 50-50 partnership the way the Chrysler did with Mitsubishi in the 1980s? I can tell you why. It's because it's a national security problem. Economically, it makes perfect sense. Just have the ship arrive at Long Beach. We'll build a giant facility in the middle of Los Angeles with a big Ford sign on it. We'll slap them together and we're in business. We're selling electric vehicles for $15,000. This is so disruptive financially what's about to happen. And that's why I've been on here for 5 years explaining to you that don't be distracted by all this other stuff. All these people that are telling you these cryptos are going to go up 20x. Great, they're going to go up 20x. It's very exciting. But really see it for what it is. The whole financial system is going to be turned inside out. What do you mean? Is the dollar going to? No, everybody just calm down. But the money moving through the American economy is going to drastically change. The reason you invest, go call your investment advisor and say, Jeff, how is it that the 6 or 7 tech companies in America, which could theoretically be wiped out by AI? What do you mean? Well, whatever software Microsoft makes, you can take an AI agent and say, just go make that software and sell it for half price. Whatever app, you could go make an Uber in a weekend. So what do these big corporations have? We don't know. And all this new investment is going to change that. Just say, Jeff, explain to me exactly why there's 6 American companies that are worth more than all of the stock markets of all the other Western nations on Earth. Well, AI is going to, blah, 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 right? They're just going to come up with a whole bunch of bullshit about trillions and trillions. How is NVIDIA going to make all this money if China's 60% of the chip market and there's not going to be any NVIDIA chips sold in China? And they'll tell you what you hear on television is that They're going to build a city in West Texas that's the biggest large language model in the fucking universe, and it's just going to print money. They won't explain to you that it's also going to burn natural gas like anybody's business. So it is a very dynamic situation. It is very complex. It is what's your Roman Empire. It's not all doom and gloom. Now, if you want to figure out what to do about it, I'd suggest you join us on Substack. Because the story here at Bruno hasn't changed for 5 years. The story hasn't changed. Elon Musk is a douche. Electric vehicles are not really that disruptive. Call your, golfing buddy who's an engineer. Say, does it take more money to push a Mustang down the road or a Tesla? And your engineering buddy's going to say, do they weigh the same? Yeah. Do they have the same coefficient of friction going through the air? Yeah. Then it takes the same amount of energy. It's not really that interesting. Okay, so let's get down in the weeds of like how Ethereum is going to really work, because this is what you have to stop and take in. Now, again, to repeat myself, I read the Federal Reserve white paper in late 2016. On Substack, I'll put a link to it. It's not the most sexiest thing you've ever read, but it explains that these are the new, this is the new infrastructure for the financial system. Now, the reason I've been playing 10 Years Gone is because for people who are doing their homework, we've known this for almost 10 years. The Federal Reserve didn't just discover Ethereum. The SEC didn't just discover Ethereum. This has been being built up for almost 10 years. Yeah, there's lots of people fighting data centers. I'm scared of social credit score and smart cities. Well, Maggie, I'm scared of social credit score and smart cities. You already live in social credit scores and smart cities. Your social credit score is your credit score. Yeah. Your credit score is how big corporations estimate your life expectancy, your health, your wealth, everything about you is in your credit score. Next up, TXSC. Yep, thank you there, Tia Mika. Yeah, I talked about that as soon as it came out, I'm like, that fucking thing's going to run on Ethereum for sure. By the way, this is all going to go up on Substack. We don't have enough power on the grid to do all this. You're absolutely correct. Why can China build? Is it the same thing as medical? Is less than everything? Why can China build for less? Okay, so the first thing we're going to say is because they pay their people less. And that's true. But let's just take that off the table. The BYD facility that builds these electric vehicles is bigger than San Francisco. What? It's bigger than all of fucking San Francisco. China, this is my whole point to you today, people, is like, what does America invest in? Oh, stocks. Yeah, stocks aren't anything. Why does anybody invest in Apple? No, I didn't mean it like that. It's not a question of whether or not these things are going to go up, but Apple buys back its own stock, right? So why do you put your money in it? Because it's going to go up. Yeah, but how does that change the world? It doesn't. This is the conundrum of America. We're not fucking investing in anything. We invest in war, $1 trillion a year in war, and $1 trillion a year on share buybacks. That's why China has a cell phone factory with no people. It just shits out cell phones, like one a second. We don't have that here. Okay? They have it. They've made trillions investing in the real world. I mean, we call it real world assets here in America. You think of like real estate and farmland and shit. We don't even think about building industrial capacity anymore. Jack Welch and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and Larry Summers and Robert Rubin sold the whole fucking farm. They sold the cattle off to Asia. They sold the tractors off to Asia. They sold the jobs off to Asia. Trump came in and said, they're ripping us off. China didn't rip us off. It's all the assholes that we voted for the last 30 years. Jack Welch went up to Schenectady, New York, and fired everybody. I've told this story 100 times on here. My friend started working as an engineer for GE when he was 19. I called him one day and I said, tell me about GE. He says, they got nothing. He said, in 15 years, they'll have nothing. It's to the date, 15 years later, GE was broken up. It was worth $600 billion. When they broke it up, it was worth $6 billion. Just think of that. So you sit here and go, well, why can China make it? Because they made the fucking investments in the actual assets that we really needed. Not bullshit Elon Musk stories about going to Mars. All right, let's all calm down. Now, one of the things to think about, tomorrow I'm going to do a real weird thing on here. I'm going to do like Gog and Magog. Seriously, if followed me for a while, I love all this weird shit. Because I do think it helps you understand what's going on. You do have to look at the price of gold right now. Okay? The price of gold is moving faster than the stock market. It's moving faster than Ethereum. Well, what does that tell us? It would be like driving through the desert in California and watching the needle go up when I used to have needles on the... It's like watching your car overheat. If you don't stop and make sure it has enough water, the engine's going to lock up. The price of gold is like this. It's vertical. It's almost vertical. It had a little sell off this thing, but it's up 60% year to date. That's the world's way of saying we're very, very suspect of what's going on in America. There's no, because you can't print gold. Jay Powell can't make gold. Elon Musk can't make gold. Donald Trump can't make gold. There's no way to artificially move gold around when finally things come apart. Now, having said that, there is some ability for them to short gold and hold the price down, but it's a limited. It'd be like the government setting the price of oil at $25 a barrel. Yeah, that lasts for about 9 months and then it explodes because nobody can make any oil. Follow me? The price of gold is showing you that the system, at the very least, is changing dramatically. Okay? Now think about this for a minute. Just really let your brain here settle in and think about this. Isn't it amazing that at the same time the government shut down, we're not allowed to have rare earth metals from China. We can't even get magnets. Ford Motor Company shuts down in 10 days because it has no fucking magnets. I'm not making this up. Our trade war with China is like this. We can't make missiles to fight Iran without rare earth metals. You see what I'm getting at here? This is what's your Roman Empire. And in a absolute trade war, China wins. And the main reason China wins is because of Russia. But that's a whole nother Guinness right there. Gold right now is the ultimate. It used to be the dollar, right? Like 9/11 invasion of Iraq. No matter what we did during the war on terror, the dollar goes up. Every time we start a war, the dollar goes up. Now we're starting a war with Venezuela, and the price of gold is climbing. See the difference? It's like, well, here in Pennsylvania, we can't go 2 hours without talking about who's going to be the president or the coach of Penn State, but it's like we just lost our head coach. So, love him or hate him, what Trump is doing is effectively the restructuring of the U.S. economy. I'm not really sure that we live in a democracy, but let's pretend that we do. If Kamala Harris was in charge, how would this all be different? We'd be doing all the same thing, except it would all have some bullshit climate change, LGBTQ story behind it, right? When we went to war with Russia, when NATO went to war with Russia, the head of intelligence in Britain said it's because Putin doesn't like gay people. So again, Ethereum has been in the till to become the base layer of asset management for 10 years. Led Zeppelin. So I have some announcements on Substack. The most important one is we have a partner to do all of our tech. It's called Agent Hub. You can go join over there for free. We're going to give you a token. You can't do anything with it unless you subscribe. It's $10 a month, people. Okay. You should really start to think about how this new Ethereum thing that I'm describing opens up financial markets. Everything isn't going to be run by BlackRock. Do you just follow me? BlackRock has all the plumbing that is running all of our money into 6 tech companies that don't need money. Do you understand how goofy that is? This new Ethereum thing is going to blow that wide open. I mean, if the CEO of Ford Motor Company would ring my bell, I'd explain to him that he needs to start making pickup trucks like Slate, that company in Indiana that's making the $20,000 electric vehicle. And they're going to need money. They're going to need capital. They haven't invested in the right stuff. Apple's going to get pushed out of China. It's going to get pushed out of Foxconn. They don't, believe it or not, all this hundreds of billions of dollars that they've spent on share buybacks over the last 10 years. There's nowhere to make the fucking iPhones. This is what nobody wants to tell you, that they've spent on share buybacks over the last 10 years. There's nowhere to make the fucking iPhones. This is what nobody wants to tell you. This is why Trump ran around for the first couple of months. We're bringing in hundreds of billions. It's unbelievable, strongly, the whole shtick that he had. It's because there's not enough money to rebuild the American economy. But the people in control are going to build those large language models to control you, Linda. That's their first order of business. That's where it gets a little scary. So if you want to join me tomorrow we're going to do Gog and Magog. Seriously. Yeah. All right, let's see what everybody else wants to talk about. Jim Farley, thank you. OpenAI partnered with AMD. Whatever they are building in AI is going to be all powerful. They also partnered with Broadcom. I don't think OpenAI's tech is really all that impressive. I just don't. I mean, the only thing impressive about OpenAI is they have a guy that runs around in the media and explains to me that OpenAI is more intelligent than the human race. And I just sit there and go, okay, show me something. What the fuck has OpenAI done? Oh, they're going to do porn and Walmart. Oh, that's great. That's what America needs more of, is more fucking Walmart and more porn. That shows me that OpenAI doesn't have a business. Oops. This is basically hate Trump. Dude, modest, go somewhere else. Go watch Tucker Carlson, or go hear Candace go on and on and on and on about fucking Charlie Kirk. Who cares about Charlie Kirk? The shutdown of the government is this part of the transition, absolutely. Now you're starting to get it. China, the shutdown, Venezuela, Ethereum, it's all the same thing, people. Imagine like aliens came and got you out of bed and said, congratulations, you get to take over the American economy. This is the stuff you'd be doing all at the same time. And you'd be watching the price of gold. The price of gold's telling you everything. Thanks there, Hoodlum. Trump is getting rid of the Fed. I think you're right there, Heavy D. I did a piece on TikTok that got it like, I don't know, 300,000 or 400,000 hits. And I said, I think Trump is going to basically wind down the Fed. I agree with you there, dude. So you want everything stay the course before Trump. I don't really want to talk about Trump. Trump is sort of the background for what's going on with finance. Trump doesn't make any decisions about anything, people. Thanks, Sarah. Abracadabra. So AI is blowing up off Venezuela? I don't know what that means. What's the purpose of stick traders? I don't know what stick traders are. Thanks there, ZZ. Trump is part of the problem. No, I don't think Trump makes any decisions. I don't think anybody on TV makes any decisions. It's just my own private, conspiracy thing. I don't think Elon Musk has anything to do with anything. I don't think Sam Altman has anything to do with anything. I think all these people are just it's like Hunger Games. They're just President Snow type people. Ethereum is slow and expensive to move. Yeah, but for the people that are going to move billions of dollars around, let's get back into that for a couple minutes. It's a little warm in here, so I'm going to take this off. Rolling up the sleeves, people. Let's go. Now, I really want you to think about this, because this is what we're doing over on Substack. This is no fucking around. I've been trying to explain all this to you for 5 years. Okay? Made no money on TikTok doing this. Did over like 1,250 live hours, half of which I got turned off for not showing the proper approval of Death Star, but let's all calm down. You have to understand what this T-Rex 36 ERC 3648 thing really is. So I'm an investment advisor. So the documentation, here's my high school yearbook. The documentation to issue a security is like this big, right? The S1, the financial expectations of blah, 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 the prospectus and all this shit. That's all just going to be in a token. That's all just going to be like a digital thing that goes zippity zip around. It's going to be probably cleared by the SEC in a month, in a week, in 24 hours. And again, think about this. If you ruled the world, if you controlled the big banks, if you controlled the Fed, if you controlled the Bank of International Settlements, and you looked at the United States and said, we have to get off the US dollar as we know it. We're going to have to restructure the whole goddamn place, which is that's what's going on, people. America is like going through a kind of a bankruptcy. Everything. It's not I like Trump and don't like that's you're missing it, folks. The whole thing is going through a bankruptcy. That's why the gold is going like this. Running out of battery on that. That's okay. All the contents of a security are going to be built into the token, which is just a chunk of software that zips around the internet at light speed. There's not going to be like, you're going to have an idea, and you're going to go meet Chamath Palihapitiya for a couple of months and fuck around with him, and then you might get some VC money, and then you're going to make some money, and then you're going to go to the NASDAQ and blah, blah. No. It's going to be like pandemonium. Did you hear the Russian guy say that we're going to refinance all the debt into the crypto, the crypto cloud? He's right on the money. The whole financial system is going into a crypto cloud. All of it. The treasuries, the Black Angus cattle, Ford Motor Company, everything is going to go into like this crypto soup, which is also why we're going to start a digital asset manager. Because nobody in finance has any fucking idea what this is. They're like, well, yeah, OpenAI, but like just go turn on CNBC Monday morning, and like it's just a whole bunch of horse shit that doesn't mean anything. I'm missing some of the. Restructuring our economy is 100% necessary since we're $37 trillion in debt. Actually, Justin, the whole debt market is $100 trillion. Oh, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that for a second. But I want this T-Rex thing, I want you to really get this. Like, if you're talking to friends and family, like Thanksgiving, football games and stuff, I don't know how to say it so you won't like, so they don't look at you and go like, what are you talking? Everything is going to be built into that token, and that token is going to be perfectly liquid 24/7, probably globally. You could be like on an airplane flying to London and talking to somebody from Qatar and say, hey, do you want to buy my token for 1,000 Black Angus cattle? And he'll go, sure. And you'll say, oh, send me your wallet address. I mean, that's a little bit goofy, but it's not far from the truth. This is what the markets are going to become like. That's what Bitcoin is, right? You can meet somebody in a bar in Dubai and like trade $100 million in Bitcoin, and no one's going to stop you. By the way, always remember that I haven't even said it. Satoshi Nakamoto roughly means central intelligence. My friend who introduced me to blockchain, we used to, over a drink, we used to call Bitcoin the DARPA dollar. Pick 3 stocks and tell us why. No. I don't give a shit about the stock market. Why would you even bring up the fucking stock market right now? I just told you for the last 54 minutes that the whole financial system is going to be turned inside out. Who the fuck cares about the stock market? I don't know, go buy Exxon, dude. Whatever. Who cares about the stock market? The stock market is so overhyped, so overpumped, over 200% of GDP. Completely fucking wacko. There's no dividends. There's no earnings growth. The only earnings growth is NVIDIA. The only thing growing in America is the fantasy of $100,000 chips being made by NVIDIA. It's the Hunger Games. It's just total bullshit. I don't even care if it goes up or down. It has no. That's why China has real productive assets that make like cell phones and BYD electric vehicles, and we don't. And the fucking CEO of Ford drives a Chinese car. Do you understand this? We have the stock market. They have real shit. I've been on here for 5 years explaining it to everybody. One day you're going to wake up and the whole world's going to run on Ethereum. And now here we are. What Led Zeppelin song? In the Light, not one of my favorites. We're going to get something on here. Here's one of my favorites. Why isn't that playing? Oh, it's because we're running out of battery as usual. Yep. This is my favorite Zeppelin song, by the way, in case anybody cares.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were
I'm not doing TikTok anymore. It's been taken over by what's his name, and I'm mainly using this just for the backdrop, just for the green screen. I'll download it and I'll put it over on Substack. I'm not talking about economic Armageddon, dude. I'm not. So, Alex, hear me out. So all this capital has been invested in Asia and specifically China, right? All of our chips come from TSMC in Taiwan. SK Hynix also makes them. We don't make anything here. Like, this is why you're seeing all this stuff with AMD and Broadcom and Intel. Because it's not here, people. It's not here. Okay? And what I'm trying to say is this thing with the SEC and Ethereum, this is, putting up some tariffs and shit like this so the BMWs don't overwhelm GM. Like, that doesn't really do much. It just pisses people off. Putting all the fucking assets on Ethereum is the big change, is the big opening. This is how are we going to get trillions of, literally people make fun of me, but once in a while I go, how could we get the first $1 trillion invested? Like, I'm a lot like Trump when I think like that. As I'm winding this down, 2014, I created something called Crowd America, like crowd fund. Like, we need to put the money back in America. Like, I'm more Trump than Trump. And it's going to fucking happen on Ethereum. Go to Substack. It's $10 a month. Plus, you get to hear about weird shit like Gog and Magog and stuff. It's very exciting over there. Do you think this is like the new Genesis for the American nation? Yes, but it's going to be really brutal. It's going to be very much like the Fourth Turning. It's going to be a lot like the Civil War. Not gangs of people chasing each other around the Shenandoah Valley, as I like to say. But think of what's going on with the tech and the finance, like the Midwest. Like, the Civil War was really about, like, who's going to take over Kansas and Nebraska. Feeling me? So what I'd have you, my invitation to you to Substack is to say, look at all this new tech, Ethereum, blockchain, AI, agentic AI, which is what we're doing. We're doing multiple agents. Like, it's free soil, people. Just go out and stake your claim. You don't have to just sit and listen to Larry Fink. That's my shtick. We're going to get everybody a token. We're going to get 5,000 people a token before the holidays. Try to get up to 100,000 like I wanted to before the Super Bowl. And think about that. What do you mean a token? So you can vote. So you can have control of these new technologies. Go to Substack. It's all over there. See ya. Losing my voice. Great Great solo. Should own them both, Blake. All right, Cole, have a good weekend.